I got cut off at the end there. So, my father tackles me to the ground. Now, at that point, the cops are called because my mother's also intoxicated drunk. As you can see, she's yelling around the house. She's going, "You go to bed." And the hardest part is I'm drugged shit-faced. I'm shit-faced on Thorazine, Seroquel, Trazodone, Lamictal, and a Risperidone. And my mother got me on a Ritalin in the morning to speedball me with a Wellbutrin and so much others. Now, why did the doctors give me these prescriptions? Because of my mother. That's it. Doctors base these type of prescription giving off of the parents. And that's why I was on more meds than a fucking serial killer. Because no other parents wanted this amount of meds except for mine. So I was always on more meds than any other kid I ever met in the country. Because my mother kept on pushing for more and more drugs. And because she was good at it, she would get them. Based upon fantasy after fantasy. Now, I would tell the doctors I need to sleep, and my anxiety was bad. And I used to think my PTSD was also anxiety. I thought they were both the same thing, so I just call it all anxiety. And my ADHD never really bothered me much, but I knew they were going to handle that. But my mother was making my heart attack me. She's screaming at me. She's making me worried all the time. I was even worried that my mother might kill me on accident and then blow my brains out with a gun, framing it on myself or something. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with my mother, but I knew it was bad. And anyways, so this remote magazine, my mother threw it away. I needed it. I'm in trouble with the program. I'm looking for it on a Sunday. My mother comes drunk, all screaming in my face, stepping up to me. I'm trying to step away. She's stepping up to me. "Go to your room already. Go to your room already." Getting in my face, nose to nose. My father probably only remembers the last event. The last time I went up, my mother goes, "Go to your room already again," or "Go to your room." I think one of them was "Go to your room." One of them was "Go to your room already." And then one more was "Go to your room." Now, two of them, she got up in my face. One was near the stairwell. The other one was more near the kitchen and living room. That was the last one. She got into my face and told me to go to my room. Now, I am needing to do this. I don't care what she says. I've been told by my program that I have to provide this. So that overrules my mother. If she's going to drop me off in the program tomorrow, I have to follow their rules. And the program's rules are I need to provide the magazine that goes with the remote. That's their rule. So my mother wants me to go to bed. Too bad. They need me to find this at home in 2 days. And they wasted my time. They have me cleaning and mowing and doing and whatever else, going out to eat. So I've used all my time up doing their stuff, what they wanted to do. I have to do this because my program wants to do this. So there's no time for me. I don't get to go and figure out how to drive. No, I have to do something for the program. I got to do something for my father. I got to do something for my mother. Even when I was 19 and it was time for me to go get my first apartment, and I was trying to do that with a program called in Lawrence called Highfields, my father was still all about himself, wanting me to do stuff for him. He wanted, instead of my check, I got a state check that was supposed to pay for housing, food, clothing, stuff like that. Now, this program requires me to pay $600 a month out of that state check. And they were supposed to give me the skills I needed. They had classes to move me into my first apartment. But see, my father needed me to give him all my money so that he could buy and pay for his house and he could go on his vacations, and so that he could stock top class brands of booze in his cabinets and eat good food and go out to eat. So he needed me to give my state check to him. He didn't want that state check going to the program to rent. So because he needed that money, instead, my program got lied to by him. Now, why did the program not get the money that they were supposed to get? And why did I have so many problems at Highfields right at the end? Things were going great. They didn't care about the weed. They said as long as I smoke it outside, they don't care. They said, just don't bring it into the program. And they said I was the most behaved, best, what was the word they said? They said, except for the weed, you are one of the best kids we've ever had in this program. And that was from the head of the program. And that made me feel so good. And then she just smiled and said, but why can't you just stop smoking the weed? We don't care. If you want to smoke weed, you got to smoke it outside the program. But why can't you stop? And I didn't really have an answer for her on that. I just said, I don't know. She goes, okay. But I just want to let you know, you are probably one of the best kids we've ever had here. I go, oh, thank you so much. And that was a good conversation I had with them. And then about a year or 6 months after that conversation, everything's going great. And I find out my father has been stealing and lying. And now I'm going to get thrown out of my housing because we owe $600 a month for years. For years. The worst thing you could do to violate this program is violate anything in writing. I mean, it's one thing to violate a rule on a wall, like not smoking indoors or leaving your air conditioner on. But my father's violating the laws and regulations. He's violating actual legal paperwork. You can't lie to Social Security. You can't lie to the Department of Health and Human Services. You can't lie to state programs. Why? Because you signed a binding agreement. When you sign your son into those programs, there's fine print at the end of the paper. But see, my father is elderly, has lawyers, and he thinks because he has money, he's untouchable and can do whatever he wants. So he decided to keep my rent money for himself. And so I then ended up in a bad situation. I had to bail my father out, or my father was going to be brought up on charges and he would have to pay me back, and I would have to pay the program back. So we got all these problems happening. Now, back to the other program in Crossroads with the flip remote. So me and my mother get in a whole thing. I go to push her a little bit. I push her lightly. She gives a little grin, and then she goes straight to, falling like a turtle backwards. Now, if she had a real fall, she would have got hurt at that age, but it was a fake fall. You could see how she bent her legs to kind of do it. It wasn't a real fall. She tried to make it look real, though. And it's not like I pushed her hard or anything, so I know. Because I know my arms, I didn't want to push her. I just wanted to separate her from me. Because she was getting up into my face, so I wanted to give her arms room away. So it's not like I ran and pushed her or anything. I was just in my own space. She came up into my face, and I just extended my arms slowly outwards. Not to give a push, but to separate. So it wasn't like I was trying to force her off or give her a serious push. Even though she made it look that way. Anybody looking who couldn't feel inside my arms would have made it seem like I was pushing my mother super hard or something the way she was acting. Because she took one step back when I went to push, and then she just jerked backwards, and then at the end of the push, she bent her legs backwards and went, and then kind of slowly fell like a turtle. It was really slow at first, and then when she was halfway back, then it just went quick. And that's because the first half wasn't an actual fall. She was doing it on purpose. That's why the first half was slow and then the second half was fast. Normally when somebody falls, they fall fast. It just is all fast. But if somebody falls fake and bends their legs kind of backwards to start that will be slow. They're bending slowly backwards, and then when they can't hold it anymore, then they fall. And my mother also gave a little grin when I did that. Now, I didn't understand what any of this meant. All I knew is I was under the influence of drugs. I was about to be in a program, and my mother's getting in my face drunk, screaming at me. Anyways, the police are called after my father tackles me for no reason. I'm just standing there at that point. My mother is like, stop it, I'm okay, I'm fine. See, my mother was playing a game. She put me on drugs. She threw away the damn manual, but she didn't know that. She just saw my property and threw it away. Or maybe because I called and told them that I needed it. Because I asked them if it was there, and I said I needed it. Maybe my mother threw it away knowing I needed it. I don't know. But it wasn't there anymore. It was gone. Then my mother's screaming at me to go to bed while I'm on the influence, but I can't because I have to follow the rules of the program. I don't get to violate those rules. Those are my parents too now. 5 days a week, my parents are a program. And then 2 days a week, I'm supposed to clean a house, mow lawns, go to church, and do whatever these two crazy wealthy people want me to do. If they want me to jump, I'm supposed to jump. If my mother wants me to bend down and do whatever she wants me to do, like here's one for you. I was in my room studying one time. And all of a sudden, I thought I heard something, but I said, no, no, no. So I went back and I took a break to play some games. I was playing with something. Then I thought I heard something again. Then I go to the hallway and I hear, Zach, Zach, Zach. I said, oh no. I go downstairs. Now, my father's not home for this. I go all the way down the stairs. I take a right. I take a left. No, I do take a right. I go through a dining room. Then I go through a kitchen. Then I hit a living room. Then I go almost all the way to the other end of the living room and I get to my mother on a couch. Not the other side. I get halfway into the living room. The couch is halfway in the living room. Anyways, I get to my mother on a couch and she's screaming, Zach, 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 Zach. And I'm like, what, Mom? What do you want? She goes, you come when I call you. If I call your name, you better be here in 1 second. I want you here when I say jump. If I say your name and I say come here, you come here. I said, but I couldn't hear you, Mom. I was all the way in my room. She goes, I don't care where you are. You come when I say come. But here's the problem. In my mother's and father's room, you could hear everything going on in the living room. But see, in my bedroom, you could only hear what was going on in the computer room or on that side of the house. So I think my mother could hear everything in the living room at nighttime and assumed that that meant I should be able to hear her screams or something. But see, I'm in a different bedroom, so I don't know what she was thinking, but my mother was going nuts. She figured if she could hear people in her bedroom, then that must mean I can hear people in my bedroom too. But that's just not true. She has a bedroom that's right over the main entrance where people hang out over the living room. So that's probably what was fucking with my mother's head. Because in my mother's room, you could hear what was going on downstairs in the kitchen and living room. So when my mother could hear that, she probably was going nuts, thinking that everybody else could hear stuff too. I don't know. All I know is my mother screamed my name over and over. Anyways, so I'm like, Mom, what did you want? Why were you calling me? She goes, when I call you, you come. And I go, yes, yes, I understand that, but you are screaming from a couch on the opposite side of a giant house with thick insulation that's supposed to prevent sound. I can't hear you all the way up there sometimes, especially if you have the TV running. And she goes, give me that remote. That's what I called you down here for. I go, what? She goes, give me that remote. I say, it's right in front of you, Mom. It's right, it's on the couch table right in front of you. It's in arm's reach. It's right there. She goes, I know where it is. Just give it to me. I said, you called me to come out of my room, go past the bathroom, past the hallway, down a flight of stairs, go past the front door, go through the dining room, go through the kitchen, get to the living room, get to you on the couch, to pick up the remote in front of you and give it to you. Now, you might be thinking this was a test to see if I would come, right? No, she would do that all the time. She would say, Zach, 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 couldn't you hear me? Well, get out of here. That's the test. She really did call me down, screaming my name to get her stuff that was right in front of her, just because she wanted me to jump when she said jump. It was a game to her. I was a little slave boy, and she wanted to play a game. I would be studying in my room doing my homework, and halfway through my homework, I had to be listening, and it used to give me anxiety, because if I didn't hear something, my mother would then punish me. If I didn't get her the remote in front of her and give it to her when she asked for it, even though I'm in a whole nother area, and there's no way she could hear the other way. You can't hear in this. There's no way anybody can hear anything going on like that. It's ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous, fucked up, psychotic shit that my mother ever had to do. And this is the problem. When my mother and father do these crazy things, and I try to tell people about it, it doesn't make sense because they're just nuts. Why would a mother call her son down, all the way down, screaming from her room? Why wouldn't she get up, go to the stairs, and go, Zach, come down? Because that's where you can hear from, the bottom of the stairs. If you want to call me, you got to be at the bottom of the stairs. It's impossible for anybody in those bedrooms on the side to hear anything on the opposite end of the house by the garage. I'm on the end by the neighbor's house. They're on the end by the other neighbor's house. We're on opposite ends of the house, and I'm upstairs and she's downstairs. She knows where my bedroom is. She knows she's on the couch. She knows there's almost no way I'm going to hear her. But yet, because you couldn't be any further away. That's the furthest you can be in the whole house. And you got at least 10 walls of insulation blocking us. You got walls after walls after walls. But yet she expects me to be able to hear her screaming my name, for one. And I'm expected to stop doing my homework, go down past the bathroom, go down a flight of stairs, go through the kitchen, go through the dining room, go into the living room and ask her, what do you need me to do for you, ma'am? I will jump off that bridge for you whenever what do you need? I'm here for you. What do you want?